minefield. If you win the random events by 1, the random event is a minefield. Now minefield lets you put down an extra template, so another 2 squares. I'll put a couple of models on it, so it's a minefield. Now, this minefield is not like a World War II Achtung Minen thing with loads of beautifully laid out mines and signs and wire. It's not. This means an area where there's unexploded ordnance, there's ordnance that's rigged up, booby-trapped, there's some mines, but a lot of it might be old bits of shells and that they've rigged up to booby-trap on people. So it's an area which is equivalent to, we call it a minefield, but it's not a World War II traditional minefield. It's all sorts of bits and pieces. This tank's been rigged up with some booby traps. There's all sorts of troubles going on around it. This bit here just shows some old destroyed trees and that. It's overgrown because no one goes in this area. So it's a recognised area where there are mines. In the rules we call it Cubans because the Cubans brought over a lot of mines. That's if you win by just 1 on the random events. That's the minefield. If you win the random event by 2, you get a Sirocco or Scirocco, the same word as on the Volkswagen car. A Sirocco or Scirocco is a dust storm. Now the way we depict that in AK is as follows. I'm going to use some smoke markers from another game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I use an explosion, 9. There are 9 markers. This can be used at the start of any turn for the person who got this random event. What they do is put it in any corner of the table. Let's say put in this corner. 9 markers use up 9 squares. There we go. There's 9 squares. You could use cotton wool or something like that. There's the 9 squares. Now, at the end of every turn, both players, the person who owns this or created it rolls a dice, and they add 1 on, so that's a 3. The opponent rolls a dice and they scored a 1. The owner adds 1 on. Now the difference between 3 and 1 is 2, obviously. From this corner, it must go exactly 2 either away in that direction or away in this direction. This player decided to go 2 away in that direction. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So none of the Sirocco is lost, but there it is, still at 9 squares. Now it's the opponent's turn. Once again you roll, but the owner still gets a +1. So the person who created the Sirocco rolls a 6. That becomes a 7. The opponent who didn't get it gets a 6. Difference of 1. It must go 1 either away from the corner that direction or away from the corner in this direction. This time it's going to go in this direction. Next turn, the owner rolls the d6 and adds 1 on. That's the 5, add 1 is a 6. The opponent who didn't get it, 4. Difference of 2. Once again, it's got to move away from the start corner. Siroccos don't go back and forth. He's going to move 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. There. Let's just do that one more time. So the next turn, whether it's the opponent's or the owner's turn, the owner rolls a dice. 1, add 1 is 2. There we go. The opponent rolls a 3. The opponent wins by 1. The opponent must move it. It's not a choice. He must move it 1 square, but still be away from this corner. The opponent decides to start moving it off the table. So as it moves a square away, the first bit of Sirocco is now off table. Still with it. The next turn, the owner of it rolls a dice and adds 1 on. 4 becomes 5. And the other player gets a 3. Difference of 2. Well, the owner can move it this way along, so he decides to do 2. 1, 2. But it must always move away from the start corner. Do it one more time. The owner rolls a 3, becomes a 4, and the other player rolls a 4. There is no movement, so for this turn it doesn't move. And once more, another turn, the owner rolls a 3, becomes a 4, and the other player rolls a 2. Difference of 2. This time the owner decides to move it off the table. It's gone. There it is, all disappeared. Now when the Sirocco or Scirocco is on the table, any troops in a Sirocco square cannot move, cannot shoot, cannot do anything apart from clearing casualties or getting a pin down results. If it falls upon a vehicle, the vehicle can't move. If it falls upon a general, the general can't move. If it falls on a helicopter, the helicopter is grounded for that time. So Sirocco moves from one corner to another corner. The initial corner is chosen by the owner, and then it moves at the end of each player's turn, so it'll soon just go off the table. That's the Sirocco or the Scirocco. If you win the round event by 3, you get a thing called fire. Now winning by 3 isn't actually very common, but it can be done. The player who's earned that 3 advantage in any turn can attempt to set fire to either a building template, a jungle template, but only things that would catch fire. He can't set fire to a river, a hill, that sort of thing. Now, it works like this. At the beginning of the person's turn who's won this event, they can select a template. Let's say I choose this template here, scattered buildings, because they'll burn. 3 or more and it'll burn. He's rolled a 1. That means there's no fire there, it's lost for this turn. But he can keep trying every turn, so next time it's his turn, I'm going to try to set fire to the jungle. 4. 3 or more lets me start a fire. The jungle now is on fire. It's on fire for the rest of the game. It's on fire forever now, forever and ever. Any troops in it have to fall back into one of the directions, the 4 directions. So if they're in this square, they must fall back this way, that way, but not into the fire. If they're in the other square, they could go that way, or out of the fire. They're moved out of the fire, and this stays on fire forever. Now, that's quite a useful one, but it affects both players, so no one can move through it, no one can see through it. That's the fire event. If you win the random events by 4 or more, which is very rare indeed, you get a thing called Stork, which is a nickname for helicopters. You get a free helicopter. So this player who's won it by 4 or more gets a helicopter. You can only win one random event, so you can either win a fire, or you can win a minefield, or you can win a Sirocco, or you can win a helicopter. Helicopters are very useful because it can buzz around and shoot people. This particular one is a very old Heller 1/100th kit. Got a machine gunner on it. And it's just a light helicopter. These armies aren't that sophisticated. They don't have modern equipment. And they're all stopped at 1990 anyway. So not interested in the very modern stuff. And it's a little model helicopter. And the player gets that. Now I mentioned a little bit about helicopters generally anyway. Helicopters can arrive at any start of a turn that the owning player wants. You might say it's turn 3, my helicopter's going to arrive. It buzzes around the table and shoots at people, fine. But it's got a thing called duration. Duration is 12 points. At the end of every turn you use your helicopter, you roll a dice, 2. It's lost 2 of the 12 points. It's only now worth 10 points left. Let's say he does another turn using the helicopter, 5. Now 2 and 5 is now use 7 points. Another turn, you roll another 5. 5's at 12, the points have all gone. You have 3 turns of use out of the helicopter. Could be different, could have rolled a 1, that's 1 turn. He's rolled a 5, so that's to 6 points. That's up to 7 points, 3 turns. 2 more is up to 9 points, 4 turns. And 4 more, 30, yeah. He got 5 turns out of that, which is quite normal. Now, helicopter can also lose duration points by being shot at by ground troops. Every time ground troops hit it and score a 6, they knock off points off the duration. So if I hit this 3 times with some nearby troops, then I take 3 points off duration. It's more likely to get driven away. So it doesn't get shot down, it's just driven away. Tanks can't shoot at helicopters, and also infantry need to be within proximity. But it's all in the rules anyway. So that's a rare item. You can buy a helicopter you force for a lot of the armies anyway. But this one's a free helicopter if you win the random events by 4.